Hello, Mr. Ford. So today I present to you my notes on chapter 11, 12, and 13 for this. So first off, I'll start with chapter 11, managing individuals in a diverse workforce. Diversity means variety. It exists in an organization where there are a variety of demographic, cultural, and personal differences among the people who work there and the customer who do business there. So the first, diversity brings greater creativity and improved problem solving, better insight into the needs of a diverse customer slash client base, and enhanced ability to attract the best talents in the diverse labor market. Employment equity, they are both different. People need to understand that. Uh, Employment equity is the planning process used by an employer to eliminate barriers in an organization's employment procedures and to ensure appropriate representation of specific members of the workforce, known as the four designated groups. First, there are the women, Aboriginal people, persons with disabilities, and visible minorities. It's important to know that employment equity it is when you're hiring people, when you're trying to get new people externally. It is important to think about diversity and that everyone has the same opportunity as everyone, either if they are a woman, an Aboriginal people, person with disabilities, and visible minorities. Everyone is supposed to be treated fairly and equal. So this is the difference between diversity and employment equity in in the workplace. So here is a surface level of diversity. The surface level diversity it is classified with gender, age, physical capabilities, race, and ethnicity. So for gender, it is important to not you to hire someone just because he's a male and a female, or a female because he's a male. It is important to choose the right people um, with the right skills, either if they are a male or a woman. As for the age, some people just hire some older managers, while some others will hire just because they think that they have more experience. While sometimes people that are very much younger than the older people will bring a lot more to the a lot more flexibility and variety to the table. Now for the physical capabilities, as we said, disabled people, sometimes people can miss a leg or an arm. It doesn't mean that they don't really have great ideas or they don't they have a problem. They just have physical incapabilities that we normal people don't have. So we don't need to judge people for this. And as for race and ethnicity, as we know, it doesn't change a thing. It just brings diversity to the table and new ideas. It is important to not discriminate anyone as for their race and ethnicity. As for deep level diversity, there is personality, attitudes, values, and belief. Just because someone doesn't agree with something you think you agree with doesn't mean that they are not intelligent or they don't have an understanding of something. It is important to differentiate your values to the values of others. They can value something else than you. As for attitudes, sometimes they will act differently than you in some situation. It is important. It brings diversity. And as for personality, this is very important. You don't really want people the same as you uh, in a corporation. You really want diversified people and with different personalities, just to bring a lot more to the table and have much more impact when taking decisions. So here is the big five: extraversion, emotional stability, agreeableness, conscientiousness, and openness to experience. So this is the big five when choosing a people. Extraversion, to the degree to which someone is active, assertive, precocious, sociable, talkative, and energized by others. Emotional stability, to the degree to which someone is not angry, depressed, anxious, emotional, insecure, and excitable. Agreeableness, the degree to which someone is cooperative, polite, flexible, forgiving, good natured, tolerant, and trusting. Conscientiousness, the degree to which someone is organized, hardworking, responsible, persevering, thorough, and achievement oriented. openness to experience, the degree to which one is curious, broad-minded, and open to new ideas, things, and experiences, is spontaneous, and has a high tolerance for ambiguity. These are the big five to evaluate the personality of someone, to evaluate just someone in general, and if they have very different points than you, well, it is a great fact and a great point to work on with these people. So I'll go to chapter 12. On chapter 12 is on motivation. Motivation is a set of force that initiates, directs, makes people persist in their effort to accomplish a goal. So first of all, effort is initiation, direction, persistence, which then leads to performance. The four basics to motivations are, um, first of all, the ability. Do people know what they are able to do? If they really know what they're able to do, well, this brings motivation to the table. And then, do they think they have a great role in the system? Do they think that they are the most valued in the company? If they do, well, they'll think that they will be more motivated. And there are sometimes situational constraints, which are policies, rules, and code of ethics in a business. And when they follow and they agree with this rule, well, it leads to performance. Then, adding need satisfaction to the model, it is important to employee to have unsatisfied needs. When people have unsatisfied needs, it brings tension to people because they find that they really need to satisfy these needs. It energizes them to take action. Then it leads to effort, then performance, and then they can satisfy their needs, which brings satisfaction. So it is important to know that people need to satisfy their lower needs before their higher needs, because if they achieve a need that is so needed for them, well, they will not see any point in working harder. They will be unmotivated to work harder. So it is important for you as a manager to make them always satisfy some lower needs, and then sometimes in the future, well, they can satisfy their higher needs. You can use extrinsic and intrinsic value. Extrinsic rewards are rewards such as that are tangible, visible to others, and given to employees contingent on the performance of specific tasks or behaviors. So here's just an example. It is a low star giving to um, someone that acted, who served their client very well. The client, and a lot of clients just said that this person was very great at his job. So he receives a tangible reward as such as a low star. Next, there's the intrinsic reward, which is a natural reward associated with performing a task or activity for its own sake. So just I put the name um, of my colleague, of my manager, Nadine. When I accomplish something that she wants me to accomplish, and it is big, and I change the department, well, it's just a natural reward for me. I see that I've changed something in the business. Well, I'm proud of myself. So just to evaluate which people to reward and what you could get them, and very to just to analyze how people are performing, well, you can use pivot charts and pivot tables. So here I created a pivot chart to see the total distribution of sales. So as we can see, Nathalie Kawet and Catherine Levesque are the leaders for selling Plant Auto. They are Toyota cars. So you can see how people are performing throughout the year. You can refresh this pivot table. Then I have all of my data right here. If I want to, I can change the data. If I change the data, I don't know, for Simon Dubé, if I just want to change the data for quarter 4, well, I change it right here. It changes right there, and then I come back here and I wait a second. And I refresh the data, and there we go. It is updated, and I have my data already updated. You can also click here. I forgot. It updates the data automatically. So you can just do a follow-up throughout the year of the people that um, maybe need more motivation. You can then improve and go see them, see what is going on, why their cells are a bit they have to catch up to other people. So it's just a way for just to track maybe which people can maybe perform better than others. This is the same as here. If you're a manager, well, you can see which car is selling more. You could even compare your last year's sales to this year's sales in order to see which one is performing better than the other. And this is just a quick example of what you could use a pivot chart and pivot table for in managing. Um, areas you could be very creative with this, and it can lead to efficiency and effectiveness very quickly when using these tools effectively. So next, for motivating with the basics, steps in motivating employees: ask employees what their needs are, set aside lower order needs. As I said, expect people's needs to change, create opportunities for employees to satisfy higher order needs. As for the next, I'll talk about the equity theory. This is people will be motivated at work if they perceive that they are being treated fairly. So here are the key terms. First, the inputs. This is the contribution of the employee. Outcomes, the reward the employee received for the contribution. Reference, where there are others with whom people compare themselves to if they are at the same level. Outcome slash inputs ratio. So an employee perception of how the reward received from an organization compares to the effort he contributed to the corporation. Under reward, a form of inequity in which you are getting fewer outcomes relative to inputs than your referent is getting. And the over reward is a form of inequity in which you are getting more outcomes relative to inputs than your referent. So this is just a graph. Fair decisions. You can use distributive justice and procedural justice. The perceived degree to which outcomes and rewards are fairly distributed or allocated. Procedural justice is the perceived fairness of the process used to make reward allocation decision. So this is just a way of saying that procedural justice is how do you evaluate someone compared to the other? Is it fair? So it is the perceived fairness of this process. While the distributive justice is the perceived degree to which outcomes and rewards are fairly distributed or allocated. So is it very fair that this person gets a low star than me? Does it work that way? Well, this is the distributive justice. Now, for the expectancy theory, the theory that states that people will be motivated to the extent to which they believe that their efforts will lead to good performance, that good performance will be rewarded, and that they will be offered attractive rewards. So the more they see that their efforts achieve better performance, and that better performance leads them to better rewards, well, it just goes as follow, and it keeps continuing until they achieve they maximize their performance level. Now for the key terms, the balance is the attractiveness or desirability of a reward or an outcome. Expectancy is the perceived relationship between effort and performance. Instrumentality is the perceived relationship between performance and rewards. This is the graph right here. Now for the reinforcement theory, I'll go through it very quickly. Is a theory that states that behavior is a function of its consequences, that behaviors followed by positive consequences will occur more frequently, and that behaviors followed by negative consequences or not followed by positive consequences will occur less frequently. So it's just a way of saying that if you work positively and you bring positive consequences to your work, well, it will bring less negative consequences. Now for the goal setting theory, a theory that states that people will be motivated to the extent to which they accept specific challenging goals and receive feedback that indicates their progress toward goal achievement. So it's just that you need to set a goal as a manager, and people, if they can see that goal and have feedback on that goal, and they have on the progress that they are getting at, where they are in terms of achieving it, well, it will lead to better performance. This is it for chapter 12. It was a bit long. I'll go over chapter 13 more quickly. So first, leadership. Leadership is the process of influencing others to achieve group or organizational goals. We'll use the picture of Brendan Gallagher, the leader of the Montreal Canadiens. There's the trait theory. I won't go between the leadership versus managers. We have it right here. As for the trait theory, well, it is a leadership theory that holds that effective leaders possess a similar set of traits or characteristics. It is important. The word similar, they think that people that have drive, desire to lead, honesty and integrity, self-confidence, emotional stability, emotional intelligence, cognitive ability, and knowledge of the business um, will have the leadership traits and will be a great leader if they have all of these points. As for the leadership behaviors, well, there's the job-centered leadership and concern for production. As Canadian Tire, there was a CEO who just wanted change. Uh, Things weren't getting done very quickly, so he made changes and is doing great right now. As for production, and for considerate leader behavior, well, it is the leaders that will are employee-centered and concerned for the people. Next, it is the Blake slash Muton leadership grid. Well, it is just a grid that says that the leaders that are concerned for production, the higher they are on the grid, well, the higher they are for concern for production, and the higher they are vertically for the people, well, they'll be for the people. There's a way just to evaluate people. Fielder's contingency theory, Pat goal theory, and Vroom and Yetton's normative decision model I will talk about right here. So Fielder's contingency theory, in a short way of saying that it is the matching leaders to the right situation. You want to match people with the right people so they can work together very strongly and have great performance. So the scale used to evaluate one's leadership style, you will use the least preferred coworker scale. So you will ask everybody who is the least preferred coworker to work with whom are you working the least, and why. So the people will choose the people not because they don't like the people, just because they don't really work well with this person. Maybe because they laugh too much or talk about something else too much. They are getting derived sometimes. So this is a way for you to not match these people together, and you can see what which people need to be which other people. Now for situational favorableness, to the degree to which a particular situation either permits or denies a leader the chance to influence the behavior of group members. So first, there's the leader-member relations. Is the leader very good with people? Task structure, is he good to communicate and say to people what the goals are and what needs to be achieved today or tomorrow. As for position power, how good are they to hire, fire, take decisions, maybe have a greater role. This is the position power of people. And as you can see, we favor leader member relations first, and position power a lot less. It shows it right here. It is important to have great leader member relations. As for the path goal theory, leaders can increase subordinate satisfaction and performance by clarifying and clearing the path to goals and by increasing the number and kinds of reward available for goal attainment. It is important that in path goal theory that you are clear and you're clarifying what the goal is. So there are different leadership style. Directive, you have great task structure. Supportive, you support your employees. Participative, you will help your employees and you will even work with them. Achievement oriented, the only thing you want to achieve is the achievements that you need to achieve. So next, I'll talk about the subordinate contingencies. The perceived ability, are people, do they know their skill set and what they're good at? Experience, if they're not experienced, less experience or more experience, well, you will need to change your leadership style. Locus of control, it is how do they master the applications and the skill set that they have. As for environmental contingencies, there is the task structure. It is clear or not clear. You need to choose the right leadership style. Formal authority system. It is the procedures, rules, and policies that are set from the leader. Primary work groups are work groups that work together for emotional support and work support. they work in a team. Types of leadership: visionary leadership. I put a picture of Elon Musk. Strategic leadership has the ability to anticipate, envision, maintain flexibility, think strategically, work with others, initiate changes, create a positive future. This is just the definition of Elon Musk right here. As for charismatic leaders, I put a picture of Barack Obama. He creates an exceptionally strong relationship. Well, just to resume, well, he's a very open-minded people. He's been through a lot, so um, people can relate to him a lot. He's strong, confident. He has a dynamic personality, and when he talks, everybody listens to him just because they can very relate to this person, and he has great ideas, which makes him very charismatic as a person. There's the ethical charismatic, such as Barack Obama, and the unethical charismatic, which is Donald Trump. As we all know, he's a bit selfish. He can have great ideas. However, sometimes he's a bit too conservative, and he can tweet very some slurs. He's Because he's selfish as a leader. Yes, he's very charismatic. People love to listen to him, but his ideas not not towards the people, but more towards him and his own um, in his own person. So this is why it is an unethical, charismatic leader. As for transformative leader, MLK, it's a leadership uses visionary and inspirational appeals to influence followers. So he did so. A lot of people now have another idea of how to treat Black people in the community. It is important to know that they are equal and that everybody should have the same opportunity, and you don't need you don't have don't you don't have prejudices towards these people. And finally, transactional leadership, based on an exchange process in which followers are rewarded for good performance and punished for poor performance. Well, this is it for my project. I'll see you in my next video.